Hey everyone, and welcome back. So doing a news video today. I know there's a couple things I need to get to, but I definitely wanted to cover a couple of these announcements right away. And I may end up skipping over a couple of details on a couple of these just because, unfortunately, once again, I'm in a little bit of a time crunch today. So I do want to apologize up front, but I definitely wanted to cover these as best I can. So first up, I do want to mention that the James Cameron films that are coming out next month are finally up for pre-order. They have not been up for pre-order for the longest time, even though obviously they were announced like several months back. But those films are up for pre-order right now. Obviously, it's True Lies, Aliens, and The Abyss. So I did want to mention that real quick. Obviously, there will be links in the description below. And obviously, just, full disclosures, a lot of you know, but in case you're new here, I'm an Amazon, affiliate. I think that's what it's called. It just means if you use a link that I provide to go to Amazon and you buy anything, whether or not it's the thing I link to or just anything on Amazon at all, I get a very tiny little bit. And I mean tiny, I mean literally pennies, but hey, every little bit helps. And I always want to be honest about that as well. Another announcement that I do want to mention real quick, also from MVD, is their upcoming Blu-ray of the movie Joysticks is getting delayed slightly. They found an audio problem and they're just fixing it. I think it was an audio problem and they're just fixing it. I don't think it's getting delayed too long because luckily they caught it early enough. So the updated release date should be announced soon, and when it does, I will definitely let you guys know. And next I want to cover the upcoming Unearthed Films release of the Guyver, which got announced last year, but specs have been released, and I believe the pre-order now is up as well. And a couple of you guys have been asking me to also talk about this. Again, I was going to include that in sort of a separate video, but I was like, you know what? Let me actually throw it in here because this is a big deal. Set for May 21st, it is going to be a 3-disc set. It's going to have the 4K disc, a Blu-ray disc, as well as the CD soundtrack, which is really cool. Has a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative of the R-rated cut, which is awesome. It'll have a 5.1 audio track as well as a 2.0 stereo track, and it has a new commentary track as well, with co-directors Screaming Mad George and Steve Wang, moderated by Dom O'Brien. The author of Budget biomorphs the making of the Guyver films, and then the included Blu-ray, which obviously will have the film on it as well, with the new transfer, the same audio specs, the commentary track, but also the rest of the extras as well, including a new interview with producer Brian Usna, interview with co-director Screaming Mad George, suit test with commentary by Screaming Mad George and Steve Wang, outtakes with commentary by Screaming Mad George and Steve Wang, a gag roll with director Screaming Mad George and Steve Wang, production and artwork gallery, an alternate title sequence, as well as the trailers. And again, it also includes the CD soundtrack. So a really awesome release. And again, this is slated for May 21st. And is up for pre-order right now, including on places like Amazon. Obviously, I think it's still kind of like full price at the moment. It'll come down. I mean, this thing isn't due out till May, but definitely an awesome, awesome release. And I'm going to cover some of Unearthed Films in a different video as well. And next up, I also want to give a quick update to the Shout and Scream Factory titles that I mentioned in my last video. Now that we have the actual official announcements, there's actually one thing that hasn't been announced yet, and label-wise, I got two of them mixed up. Or not mixed up because I didn't know at the time, because it was like an early release of information, which obviously wasn't complete. The main thing is the 4K release of The Faculty. That has not been announced yet. Now, I don't know whether or not it may still get announced later this month, or if it's case, was it last year? It was last year, where, I saw the early leak about Natural Born Killers, and I figured it was about to get announced, but actually didn't get announced till like the month after that. So could be the case here. But just as of now, the 4K release of The Faculty has not fully officially been announced just yet. But as far as Scream Factory goes, which I actually thought this was going to be a Shout Factory release, but it's actually Scream Factory, which is of Blu-ray of Lost in Space. Now, because it is a Blu-ray, obviously it is going to be regionally locked, but they did at least announce the details on this one. I don't think any of the other ones have details yet, but this one does. It has a new 2K scan of the film from the Inner Positive, a 5.1 audio mix, as well as commentary track with director Stephen Hopkins and Akiva Goldsman, audio commentary track with visual effects supervisors and director of photography, as well as the producer. Sorry, I'm going to have to start going a little quick through some of these descriptions. Interviews with director Stephen Hopkins and writer-producer Akiva Goldsman, deleted scenes, additional scenes, building the special effects featurette, the future of space travel featurette, a Q&A with the original cast, as well as the theatrical trailer. So I'm sorry I'm sort of speeding through that, but and again, that is going to be a Scream Factory exclusive, set for April 9th. Retails for $36.98. And the next two are Shout Select titles. So first one is, as I mentioned before, the Blu-ray of the movie Affliction, the Paul Schrader film. Has a new 2K scan from original film elements, and that's the only details I have. Again, Blu-ray, region A locked, retails for $34.98, set for April 16th. I don't know if there's going to be any other extras on it or anything just yet. I don't know if that... All it says here is it just mentions the transfer, and that's it. And then finally, the one I actually thought was going to be a Scream Factory release, but is actually Shout Select, is the 4K release of Rolling Thunder. I was actually almost certain that was a Scream Factory release, but set for April 23rd, retailing for $39.98. And that'll be a 4K and Blu-ray set. Obviously, the included Blu-ray will be regionally locked. No details just yet. Those will be released down the line. With a couple of these, I think, I'm hoping that there'll be more details coming out. And again, just waiting on the announcement for the 4K of The Faculty, because that is coming. I assumed, because it was sort of leaked with these other ones, that it was going to be coming out in April. And it still might, who knows. But it wouldn't surprise me if that ended up being maybe a more May release. And then finally, since it is a new month, of course, we do have the Vinegar Syndrome titles up for February that are up for pre-order right now. But before I get to them, I do want to mention that they did announce that they are doing their own 4K release of China O'Brien 1 and 2. And right now that is slated, that's going to be part of their May sale release that happens Memorial Day weekend, which usually means you can pre-order it in March. But I did want to mention that because I think they announced that early because, if I remember correctly, there's a company in the UK releasing their own 4K version, and they were coming out and would be like, hey guys, don't import it, we're doing our own version, kind of thing. So yeah, just want to give you guys a heads up on that. And then get into the actual Vinegar Syndrome titles, including their their sub-labels as well. So I'm going to do sub-labels first, and then I'll do the main ones as well. I may skip over a couple of the details. Again, I'm running out of time here. But first up, from their Degauser video, am I pronouncing that right? It's their own sort of sub-label line that is doing like shot on video films from, let's see, what year was this one from? 1993. And this is the film Herencia Diabolica. Am I even close to pronouncing that? I think so. Kind of close. Maybe. I don't know. That's up for pre-order right now for $27.99, and this is a region-free Blu-ray release. Again, was a shot-on-video film, again from 1993. It's a Spanish mono with newly English subtitles. Newly transferred from the best quality archival tape master, a commentary track with film critic and historian Hugo Lara, Memorias Diabolicas, The Mexican Chucky, an interview with actor Roberto Guinar. Hope I'm pronouncing that name. Oh, God. Just the Latin half of me is probably like, you're pronouncing that wrong. And again, that is up for pre-order right now. Next one is a new one in their Vinegar Syndrome Labs line, which is a cool line. They're sort of, looks like they're restoring kind of slightly older films. And this one is a new Blu-ray release of Five Card Stud, the film from 1968 starring Dean Martin. Actually, forgot. Dean Martin, Robert Mitchum, Inger Stevens, Roddy McDowell, and Yaphet Kotto. Wow, what a cast. Now that is going to be regionally locked, though, just as a heads up. Got a new transfer from the original 35mm camera negative, a commentary track with author and film historian Brian Hannon, jack of all trades, film critic Walter Chaw on the films of Henry Hathaway, A Woman of True Grit, Lizzie Frank, on screenwriter Marguerite Roberts' legacy. And that is up for pre-order right now for $29.99. And then we have one new one in the Vinegar Syndrome archive line. And this is getting a Region A locked Blu-ray, heads up on that, of the movie A Man Called Hero. Pre-order right now for $29.99. From 1999, it's got a newly restored transfer from an existing studio master, presented in its original Cantonese language in a 5.1 soundtrack, as well as a English dub soundtrack. Brand new commentary track with film historian Frank Zheng. A Blood Sword in the Road, A Man Called Hero's place in Hong Kong cinema's action movie landscape. Now that's a long title. A video essay by Justin Declos of the Important Cinema Club. As I mentioned, it's up for pre-order right now for $29.99. And then finally, we get to the three actual Vinegar Syndrome, Vinegar Syndrome, if I can talk, the three regular Vinegar Syndrome titles for this month. First one is a Blu-ray release of The Playgirls and the Vampire, Italian film from 1960, and this is going to be a region-free Blu-ray. The new transfer from the original 35mm fine grain master in Italian mono with the newly translated English subtitles, as well as an English dub track. Striptease Gothic, a conversation with Mark Thompson Ashworth. the original trailer, alternate The Playgirls and the Vampire opening title sequence, an alternate Curse of the Vampire opening title, an alternate Defile pour un Vampire French title sequence, and a still gallery, and that is up again right now for pre-order for $29.99. And next up is a 3-disc set of the Spanish Bloodbath featuring the films Night of the Skull, Violent Bloodbath, and The Fish with the Eyes of Gold, up for pre-order for $37.99. And it's going to be a region-free Blu-ray set with new transfers from the original camera negative. It'll be in the original Spanish mono soundtrack with new English subtitles, as well as an English mono dub soundtrack on the movie Violent Bloodbath. An interview with actor Antonio Mayans for Night of the Skull. Interview with Stigas Festival director Angela Sala for Night of the Skull. Interview with Carlos Grau, son of director Jorge Grau for Violent Bloodbath. Interview with Jose Lafante for Violent Bloodbath. Interview with Stigas. Isn't it Stigas or is it Stigas? I actually don't know. I should know that. I know that's really bad that I don't know that. Stigas? I'll just say Film Festival. Festival director Angel Sala for Violent Bloodbath. Interview with the same person for The Fish with the Eyes of Gold, as well as 5 Spanish Yellow recommendations from the same person. So a lot of interviews with them, and that's good. And again, that is going to be Blu-ray set and region-free, thank goodness. And then finally, we get to the one 4K release for the month, and it is indeed a 4K release of the Saul Bass film Phase 4. And then I'll have a 4K disc as well as an included Blu-ray. Pre-order right now for $44.99. This is going to be a 3-disc set, so I'll have a 4K disc and 2 Blu-rays. Now, the Blu-rays, unfortunately, will be region A locked, so just a heads up for some of you. Has a new 4K transfer from the original 35mm camera negative. We'll have 2 cuts of the film, but one of the cuts is on Blu-ray only. So first up is the original 84-minute theatrical version, which will be on the one on the 4K disc as well as the included Blu-ray. And then I'll have an 89-minute preview version with multiple soundtrack options on an included Blu-ray as well. And then has a couple of extras, including a new commentary track for the theatrical version by film historian Matthew Asprey-Gear, Evolutions, The Making of Phase 4, a brand new documentary by Elijah Drenner featuring interviews with Jeffrey Bass, co-star Michael Murphy, screenwriter Mayo Simon, archivist Sean Savage, and design historian Saul Bass biographer Pat Kirkham. Formicide Sinfonia, right? Oh God, I'm like not doing well today with some of these words, am I? The music and sounds of Phase 4, a brand new featurette with composer Brian Gascogni, maybe, and electronic music artist David Forehouse, deleted shots and sequences, raw footage from Saul Bass's original ending montage sequence, theatrical trailer, and a still gallery. So again, that's sort of like the flagship release of the month, as it were. And again, all these are up for pre-order right now at the Vinegar Syndrome website. And again, sorry, I sort of stumbled through some of these. Covered them kind of quickly, but also obviously stumbled over my own words. And I am still planning. I'm actually trying to clear time as well to do a couple of videos. Obviously, a long overdue update video on a couple things, which I want to do in the next couple months, and also where things are at as well, and plus a new pickups video, because I did get a couple things in, some stuff too which I have watched. I may not do like official reviews of, as it were, but I'll kind of mention my thoughts in the pickups video. So keep an eye out for that, as well as some other videos that I hopefully can get to soon. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know. I'll try and answer them as best I can. And I desperately need some water. It seems like my throat's pretty dry. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.